Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Divisive Movie Month. And this time we're talking about a giant kaiju slash action sci fi movie from 2013 that is a divisive film because some people really like this film and some people hated it. So it's kind of divisive to me. And that's the first Pacific Rim movie. Yeah, I already reviewed Godzilla 2014, so that won't be reviewed this month. But yeah, this film actually has a fan base, and there's some people that don't like it. And trust me, I know some of the idiots on YouTube that were like, oh, "This is the one of the worst movies of 2013." Really? Well, I'm gonna get to that. But I saw this movie in the theater. I had fun with it. It's long. Yes, there's some problems, and I'll get to that. But compared to the sequel, which I'm not reviewing because fuck that movie and John Boyega's face, this was directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's definitely his most divisive movie that was not horror related or like a superhero movie like Hellboy. It has a massive budget, like it's one of his biggest budgets of all time. It has a really all a massive cast. You have Ron Perlman, Rinko Kikuchi, Charlie Day, Rob Kaczynski, Martin Martini, Idris Elba, Charlie Hunnam, and a bunch of others as well. You have a cool premise: giant robots fighting giant kaiju monsters. That's not exactly. It's basically Power Rangers or Ultraman or something like that, but with a bigger budget and mostly focused on the humans. But I'd sit through this movie any day over any of the Transformers Michael Bay movies that he's done. All of them, including the first one, because unlike Transformers, the robots you can actually see them. The designs of the monsters are pretty cool. The special effects look amazing. Guillermo del Toro got some really good effects people to work on the movie. It's not 2.5 hours. The movie's 2 hours and 11 minutes. That's almost as long as Rogue One, and I was never bored. Yes, there's some problems. Like I said, Idris Elba overacts in this movie. I told these people once, and I'll say it again. Overacting Brits in a freaking sci-fi movie is not for me. I hated that in the prequels. Well, with some of the actors in the prequels that were overacting, or freaking the other prequels like Rogue One, which is basically a prequel. They just don't want to say it. And I hated that in the rehash trilogy as well. Why does everybody have to yell, "We're canceling the apocalypse"? Fuck you, Idris Elba. That's not acting. That's yelling. Thank God he dies in this movie, or I would have, been like, even when he's using his British accent, he can't act. Charlie Hunnam, yeah, is he a great lead? No, but he's not horrible. I'd take him over Bayenga any day because he has no personality. He breathes in everything, and he does a nasally American accent that can't that adds nothing. At least with Charlie Hunnam, I can take him over it. And Rinko Kikuchi is a gorgeous Asian woman. Yeah, she's not. She has an accent, just like the girl in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But she's a beautiful Japanese girl. She can fight. At least she holds her own. Unlike in the sequel, where what did they do with her? She's in the film for 10 minutes and dies. Yeah, go screw yourself, writers and director. It wasn't Guillermo del Toro's fault. He had nothing to do with the sequel because he did Shape of Water and won an Oscar. So good for him. And yeah, the critics were like mixed on it. This movie lost to freaking Adam Sandler's Grown Ups 2, a shittier movie that was a sequel that no one asked for. This film cost 180 to 200 million and made 400 million. So worldwide, it pretty much broke even. But it would have done a lot better if it wasn't for those god awful summer movies that we got, like the Grown Ups 2 and Smurfs 2. Yeah, it says here that it was the most commercially successful film to date for Del Toro because most of his films are lower budget. I mean, Pan's Labyrinth didn't cost $200 million, guys, or Hellboy, or Blade 2. There were big budget movies, but not this big. And also in China, it made 114 million. Episode 9 is not going to make that. The film has gained a cult following. Yeah, that's good. That's why it's divisive. It's for a small audience like me that grew up on Power Rangers and Godzilla films and Ultraman. Well, played the video game Ultraman, and I've been watching episodes of Ultraman in this decade. And people that watch Beetleborgs and Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Those are not deep and compelling shows with the best writing, but they were entertaining. That's what this movie did for me. It entertained me. When the monsters are on screen, it looks great. Really good effects. The robots are badass. They're like, I can't see it because it's so dark because it's raining. I'm like, they did the same thing in King of the Monsters, and yet I still can enjoy that movie too. But I'm not reviewing that. I already did that. But yeah, Pacific Rim is not the worst thing ever. They have to use their minds to create to make the Jaegers, the giant robots, move. It's interesting. It's something different. It's not robots talking and saying stupid pop culture references and tons of product placement. Michael Bay, yeah. And the plot is simple. They like I said, it's robots fighting giant thing. It's not that for 2 hours and 11 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I hate to burst your bubble, but every movie needs talking in it, just not too much of it. Endgame was 3 hours long, and the first hour is talking, but I love it because it's characters I'm invested in. Here in the first movie, so the characters they have their moments. The Japanese girl's badass. Charlie Hunnam's okay. I don't love him, but he's better than Bayenga. Any day, I'll take him over Bayenga's. I gotta find my droid. I gotta find my droid. I gotta find my droid. Fuck you. Right in the ass. And also, I like Charlie Day. I know he's like a crazed squirrel here, but he's better used in this movie than in the sequel, where they make him a villain. When the hell did they build that up? Oh, because he was a coked out meth head in the first movie. And you have the British guy from The Dark Knight Rises in there too. He's kind of useless. But then you have Ron Perlman in this movie. He didn't come back for the sequel. He has these boots. He's kind of awesome. It's always good to see Ron Perlman because he worked with Del Toro before in the Hellboy movies, and it's good to see him. He always adds a lot of gravitas, even to the worst films. The movie was written by Del Toro, and it was also written by Travis Beachman or Beecham. Let me look that guy up because he's done some stuff too. Let me see what he's done. Uh, he was gonna do the Black Hole remake. He did Pacific Rim. He did episodes of The Walking Dead. I gotta check on IMDb. Hold on. I'm still reviewing this movie, but like I said, it's a fast paced movie. It doesn't take an hour for something to happen. You see a monster fight in the first 10 minutes. If that's not better than Transformers: Age of Extinction and Revenge of the Fallen and freaking Dark of the Moon and freaking The Last Night, which was boring as fuck, yeah, I'll take this any day because it's not too long. My friend Tevya can definitely vouch for this movie, the first Pacific Rim. It's fun. It's not deep and compelling. It's not freaking The Dark Knight. It's just a monster movie with giant robots fighting, uh, you know, these creatures that come out of nowhere. This guy also wrote Dog Days of Summer, Clash of the Titans remake, ugh, uh, Hieroglyphic, a TV movie, and he wrote the characters for the second Pacific Rim. So he's done some decent stuff. At least he didn't write like the Underworld films or whatever. But yeah, it's a movie that has a big budget that was kind of like it was divisive because some people said Pacific Rim job, huh? The characters are shit. I don't care about anybody. Again, if you don't like these actors, of course you're not going to be invested. Hunnam I liked on Sons of Anarchy. That's more than Bayenga that has ever had. What did he have? Attack the Block. Nobody gave a shit. And Force Awakens, which I'm like, they ruin his character in the next movie. They take a character that had potential and they make him into a freaking black comedy relief. Yeah, there's none of that in this freaking movie, guys. In this movie, yeah, there's none of that. There's comic relief, but it's not. It's mainly Charlie Day. It's not some black guy like Idris Elba's a black British guy, and he dies because he gives a stupid speech like "We're gonna cancel the apocalypse right now," and I'm like, and then he dies. So what's the investment? Nothing. And then he has a son that they pull out of their ass in Uprising. Yeah, blow me. And it seems like I'm ranting. I'm like, no, I like this movie. It is divisive, and I understand that. But unlike the second one, at least this one knew what it was. If it had an actor that everybody loved, or at least really liked, like Chris Pratt or something, everybody would be jerking off. But I'm like, I'm fine with Charlie Hunnam. He's done worse, guys. Did you see the King Arthur movie he did a few years later? That was worse. That hurt me. That was painfully boring. At least in this movie, he has some kind of presence. And like I said, Rinko Kikuchi, they have a backstory with her where she's a little girl and a giant kaiju's like attacking her. Again, interesting. It's like a freaking anime. Because look, it says it here. Look, the film is considered as a homage, not a remake, Force Awakens, to kaiju, mechas, and anime media. The giant robots are kind of like Evangelion or Gundam, or like some other shows that like Robotech. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. That's cool. It's interesting. I like robots when they're used right, not when they're used like slot machines. And the film goes on and on. It doesn't take way too long. This movie is a breeze to get through compared to Transformers. All of those movies are long, have too many characters. It's too much action that just goes on and on and on. It's aimless. It's boring. It's fucking useless. And the first movie, yeah, it has its moments, but it's too long. The human characters, there's enough human characters here to be interesting. Unlike in Transformers, where there's like 150 of them, and a third of them don't need to be in the film. Here, yeah, there's some characters you could cut out, but again, it has some personality. Let's see what the critics had to say about this. Marketing, promotion, cast, release. Here it is. It got a 72%. It may sport more style than substance, but Pacific Rim is a solid modern creature feature bolstered by fantastical imagery and an irresistible sense of fun. Thank you, Rotten Tomatoes. You're the asshole sometimes, but with this movie, you nailed it right on the button. It is a fun movie. If you shut your brain off and you don't put too much logic into a freaking movie about robots fighting monsters, you're not going to get anything deep and compelling with that. This is not Oscar bait. This is just a fun popcorn movie to shut your brain off. Just like the 1998 Godzilla or the 2014 movie or any episode of the Power Rangers from the original Mighty Morphin. Yeah, I like the film for what it is. It could have bored the shit out of me like the last Transformers movie I saw. Not Bumblebee, The Last Night. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't a bunch of Brit pre-turds freaking talking for 20 minutes, and then another 20 minutes is talking, and then there's another 20 minutes of talking, and then there's product placement, and the camera's going like this. It's going like this every time. And I'm like, why do that? Why not just, you can't even put the good aspect ratio? This film didn't do that. It doesn't have the IMAX aspect ratio every 5 seconds changing shape. It's just it's hard to see a movie like that. It really is. And I'm sick and tired of movies doing that. In this movie, it was straightforward. I don't think we even needed a sequel. I think a one and done would have been fine. And I haven't seen the movie in years. I have to see it again. But what I remember, I liked in the theater. Some people in the theater said, I couldn't see anything. Then open your eyes. Jeez. At least it's an original movie. It's not based on a comic. It's not based on a cartoon. It's not based on a freaking book. It's not based on like I don't know. Director Ruin Johnston praised this movie. Yeah, because this movie's better than Your Last Jedi. It's shorter, it's to the point, and has a better cast. And the Asian girl in this movie is not annoying. There, I can say it. He said, as did Japanese gamer director Hideo Kojima, who called it the ultimate otaku film and stated he never imagined he would be fortunate enough to see a film like this in his life. No guy who pioneered the idea of mecha piloted from an interior cockpit. Exactly, the brain, not just the arms and the legs, but the brain. Praised the film's fun and intense action, while game developer Fumita Ueda said that its battle scenes surpassed memories of the tokusatsu films he saw in an impressionable kid. Yeah, see? Japanese-inspired freaking action sequences. What more do you want? Do you want deep, compelling characters that are freaking cracking at each other like in the MCU? This movie didn't need to be an MCU movie. It did its own thing, and it worked. And audiences overseas bit. When the sequel came out, it flopped because the personality was not there. With Guillermo del Toro, he puts personality into every freaking movie that he does, by for better or for worse. Crimson Peak, Blade 2, the Hellboy movies, Pan's Labyrinth. I will probably never see Pan's Labyrinth because it's in Spanish and I don't like reading subtitles, but the visuals in that movie, I admit, are freaking fantastic. The guy has an eye for detail. He's Spanish, of course he does. The director of Birdman also has an eye for detail. And the guy that did Gravity. I don't care about Sandra Bullock, but the visuals are amazing. They're nice to look at. If I have a visual director that does his job, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Ruin Johnson, the only visually stunning movie he did was what? Looper? And I still haven't seen it yet. But this film is fun. If you shut your brain off, it's not going to kill you. There are worse ways to spend 2 hours and 11 minutes. See Rogue One again. See freaking Solo, the edited freaking version with Ron Howard. Yeah. See Star Trek Insurrection. That's a shitty movie, and it was done in the 90s. There's way worse ways to spend your time. This is not a horrible movie. It is divisive. Like I said, it's not going to be for everyone. People that don't like giant kaiju films, you know who you are. You're going to hate this because there's not much. There's that, and there's people fighting, training and whatever, like soldiers. It's basically if you took Independence Day and put monsters and instead of aliens, you have giant monsters and giant robots fighting. That's what it kind of felt like to me. And I like Guillermo del Toro's movies a lot more than Michael Bay. His recent stuff has been shit. But yeah, I do like the film. I have a passion for it because, like I said, movies with giant robots are cool. Iron Giant, that was cool. And also the Power Rangers movie, that counts. And other stuff as well. And like I said, unlike Dark Fate that just bombed and it deserved to, this film doesn't kill the main characters off in the first 10 minutes. Oh, did I spoil it? Yeah, I did because nobody cares. But yeah, Pacific Rim is awesome. I didn't get to review this for October. I'm glad I reviewed it today because it's a good film. It was overlooked. It was shat on by certain people because they didn't get the movie they wanted. They're like, that looks interesting, but the main characters suck. I might be saying that next year for Kong versus Godzilla. I like the monsters. That's what I'm seeing the film for. And maybe a hot chick or two. That's it. Millie Bobby Brown is not saving that movie, guys. She's a 15-year-old girl. Nothing like that could save that for me. Any movie. Unless it's the best actress in the world and they grow up and become a beautiful woman. Because I'm not into that, guys. I like women. And there's a gorgeous Asian woman in this movie. You know how I feel. I have a fetish for that. But anyway, Pacific Rim, it's going to get more attention now that the sequel was shit. So that got destroyed by critics. And it was not needed. The director was Stephen S. DeKnight, who this guy did episodes of Spartacus and other things. What else did he did? Yeah, this is the only film he did. See, an inexperienced director did a Pacific Rim sequel. Of course, it was going to fail. Guillermo's already established and he won an Oscar, so that's why he was able to make this movie different from his other films. The most divisive movie he's made, but my kind of film. It's not for everybody, but who cares? Not every film is for everybody. I know that from experience. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I hope you like my passionate review of the first and only Pacific Rim, in my opinion. And also, stay at the end credits. There's a post-credit scene that's pretty cool. Ron Perlman. He doesn't die in the movie, which is nice. Because in Alien Resurrection, he dies. But here, he doesn't. And he has a cool line at the end. But it's a fun movie. Just shut your brain off. Not everything needs to be a deep, compelling story. If I care about something, that's better than caring about nothing. Leave you with that. See you later.